happening in Istanbul there, Matthew?
Yes, well, all this news coming out of Istanbul, of course, taking its toll, particularly on the currency dropping back, Turkish lira against the dollar. It's now at a 20-month low. This is what's been happening to it since the start of the year, down around 6%. But there has also been some data out on the Turkish economy just this morning, in fact, by coincidence. The first 3 months of the year, the economy actually grew by 3%, and that was higher than expected. So, of course, that all happened before everything we're seeing now. But it does show that the economy there has been a really strong motor and has been doing really well. Perhaps that's an explanation for what's been going on in the stock market, which is actually up this Tuesday morning. Shares there on the Istanbul market up by about 1.75%. And well, let me just continue with markets, tell you what's happening here in Europe. The main markets are all opening down, apart from the Frankfurt DAX. They're up very slightly, but it was a similar story in Asia. In Tuesday's trading day, major markets were down. Shanghai closed for a public holiday, but the Nikkei there in Japan off by 1.5%.
Now, one share you've been looking at there in Japan, Sony.
Yes, that's right. Sony shares are up over 2%, and that was after it said that it's planning to price its new PlayStation 4 under that of its rival Microsoft with its Xbox One. Well, both companies are showing off their wares at a big gaming conference in Los Angeles. Caterina Vitozzi has been taking a look.
At the E3 trade show, everyone's talking about the battle of the consoles. Sony's PlayStation 4 versus Microsoft's Xbox One. Earlier Xbox and PlayStation models were neck and neck in terms of volumes sold, both behind the Nintendo Wii. But with the new Nintendo Wii U not hitting sales targets, its rivals are seizing their chance. The Xbox One and the PS4 are both next-generation platforms. With broadly similar graphic features and gamer connectivity, could their price decide which is the most popular? The Xbox One will cost €100 more than its rival, the same difference in dollars, too steep a price for some.
$500, it's not surprising anyone, but it's also, it's still not, it's expensive, right? It's a lot of money.
But the consoles aren't just competing with each other. They've got to win back buyers who've turned to games on smartphones or tablets too. How to do that? Well, Microsoft's trying a multifunctional approach.
Essentially, we saw a box that is a communications device, is a TV tuner, allows us to use it as a DVR and surf the web, and oh, by the way, you can play games too.
Who will win the console war will become clear later this year. Launch dates for both are slated for just ahead of the Christmas rush.
Now, let's stay in Europe for this next one. Could Germany about to try to derail Mario Draghi's big plan to save the euro?
Yeah, a bit of explanation here. A year ago, you remember the head of the European Central Bank, Mario Draghi, said he would do whatever it takes to save the euro. And what he launched then was this plan to buy the debt, the bonds of struggling Eurozone countries. It was called OMT. That's its official name. Now, it's never actually been used, but just the existence of it has helped borrowing costs fall in countries like Spain and Italy.
So why is Germany's court getting involved in this?
Well, the German Constitutional Court has to decide whether it's constitutional in Germany or whether, in fact, it hands too much power away from Berlin to beyond within the European Union and takes away their ability to control the size of these rescue funds. And understandably, many people are worried that if they decide that it does go beyond the Constitution, scuppering the plan, that could take us back to those days of last year. Do you remember when all we were doing was looking at the roller coaster borrowing rates?
Yeah.
So we will see. We won't know a decision for a few months yet, though.
OK, now here in France, airlines are cutting their flight timetables in half, in fact, as air traffic controllers start a 3-day strike. Not a good day to travel.
No, that's right, and worth checking with your airline if you are flying in Europe. This is all because there are plans to change the way air traffic is managed in Europe, in particular, ending this system of 27 different countries all having their own ways of managing their airspace. The EU wants to bring it together, put lots of those responsibilities into one single body to reduce something like this. Look at the number of air traffic controllers in Europe and the US for about the same amount of airspace, and flights far higher in Europe. So understandably, if it's all unified, air traffic controllers concerned that some jobs will be going, and that's why unions are taking action.
Inevitably, not surprising. All right, Matthew, thank you very much. Matthew Warren here with the business here on France 24. Now it's time to have a look at what's in the papers.